Am I muted? Oh, alright. We good, we good. We here. Let's go, Lou. Even though my game wasn't played. Yeah, this ass, bro. That's super ass. Alright. Really, I was just playing fucking Cold War, you know what I'm saying? I was on a hot streak. But, I figured I'd do this for the league real quick. Knock this John out. Without further ado. We ain't gonna miss it. We ain't gonna miss it. Hold up. You know how we gotta start things off. You already know what we're about to do. Welcome everybody to tuned in to the Week 1, Season 1 Gridiron Legends Gang recap with your host with the most, Boogie by J1, aka J Dilla Commissioner. You know what I mean? We're gonna cover everything from stats to players to breakout performances for Week 1, Players of the Week, Game of the Week, of course. And we're gonna foreshadow a little bit of Week 2, give some predictions out. So once again, if you're here showing some love, you already know what it is. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell for the notifications so you don't miss out on these streams. You feel me? Thanks, gang, for showing up as always. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I know you got things to do. I know it's late. So we're just gonna jump right into it. You know what I'm saying? So the first game of the week, Thursday Night Football, which was game of the week, ironically. This one turned out to be a shootout. On paper, it looked like, especially without J.J. Watt going to the Arizona Cardinals, it looked like Texans were absolutely going to be obliterated. But Kansas City, they kind of slithered their way out of this one, as lethal THF of the Houston Texans did not go down without a fight against the heavily favored Super Bowl defending champions, Snow Machine 12 of the Kansas City Chiefs. And boy, was this a good one. Just looking at here, we ain't even get to the box score yet. But here we go. As you see here, wow. Halftime, Houston down only by 4 points, 17-21. KC got themselves a fight here at halftime, but as you go ahead to the fourth quarter, 16 points by Houston, almost staging a comeback, but just 3 points shy, just a field goal shy of winning the game, as KC barely holds on at home in Arrowhead to begin the year 1-0. And we got to go here to the standard performances here, as KC has 2 players of the week on both sides of the ball. Deshaun Watson had himself a hell of a game. 542, a QBR of 128.8. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, 29-35. What more could Deshaun Watson have possibly done, especially without D-Hop? Patrick Mahomes, 417, 4 touchdowns, 2 INTs, 17-23. Both these guys, if you like high-flying, explosive spread, air raid offenses, this is definitely the game for you. I recommend, especially after seeing this, I highly recommend, if you're a game of the week, stream these games. I know most of these guys want to see it, so don't leave this hanging, you know what I'm saying? Rushing wise, Deshaun Watson doing it through the air, doing it on the ground as well. I mean, 44 yards on the ground, leading the way for his team, leading the way for both teams, as Kansas City refused to give a running back a carry the entire game. Patrick Mahomes had 5 for 19 and a touchdown as well, giving up 5 total touchdowns this entire game. Dontre Hiller getting 3 goal line carries for himself as well. But D-Jack, Deshaun Jackson, free agent signing right before the regular season started and paid dividends immediately. Paving way for the fastest offense in the entire NFL with Deshaun Jackson, Tyreek Hill, of course, and now Mecole Hardman. Who can possibly stop the Kansas City Chiefs? What secondary can rival them? 9 catches, 261, 3 touchdowns as D-Jack in his debut game as a Kansas City Chief, linking up with Andy Reid again. Absolute explosive performance by D-Jack, the 12-year vet out of California. Brandon Cooks himself, 5 catches, a buck, 62 touchdowns. absolutely went off in his first game as a Houston Texan. Will Fuller, 4 for a buck 15. Randall Cobb, 8 for 98. Kiki Kuti with 69 yards. Dontre Hillard chiming in through the air as well. Tyreek Hill, 2 catches, 56 yards, made the most of his opportunities. Miko Hardman, 1 catch, but made the most of his opportunity. 42 yards to the crib. Hey, Christian Jones, thank you for tuning in, my guy. What's up, Decisive? We gonna get to you in a second, Decisive. We gonna see what's popping with your game, cause I know your secondary is kind of legit. But as you go here, Rashad Fenton leading the way for both teams in tackles with 6. Sack department, 5 sacks for Chris Jones, as he's the defensive player of the week for the AFC. So congratulations to Logan, leading the way on both sides of the ball for the AFC this week. 2 sacks for Frank Clark, Derek Nottie with 2 as well, Whitney Merciless, L'Jarius Sneed, and Taco Charlton. Go over the MVP, Nyheim Hines. Google the Safari. Yo, what's good? Goggle? Is that Google? What's up, Goggle? Yeah, we gonna get to the calls. Trust me, bro. We gonna get through every single game. I promise you, my guy. Just stay tuned. Brashad Breeland with the pick and Lonnie Johnson Jr. with only 2 lone picks in this one. Any defensive touchdowns, of course. Chris Jones Jr. Why I say Jr.? Chris Jones with a defensive touchdown as well in this one, which definitely sealed his Player of the Week honorees of Week 1. As KC once again 1-0 to start the season. As we go here, first Sunday, 1 o'clock game of the season. Spill your guts at the Seattle Seahawks taking on Free Damn Donut, aka Envy of the Atlanta Falcons, and just another high-scoring game here. And surprisingly, I mean, deadlock at halftime. I mean, just 2-point difference heading into halftime, 28-26. Atlanta down, but the third quarter is what made the difference, as they was able to score and hold Seattle in that third quarter, which ultimately made the difference. 38-35 win in the Georgia Dome, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Russell Wilson, both of these guys, just ridiculous numbers these first 2 games. Russell Wilson, 4 for 94, 5 touchdowns, 7 picks. That's probably what killed him late in this one. The 7 interceptions. Matt Ryan, though, 549, 5 touchdowns, 5 INTs as well. Both these guys, I mean, they were getting into the end zone, but they were also just chucking it up. Chuck it, fuck it football, you know. It doesn't always work, but it worked for Atlanta somehow in this one. Chris Carson, 5 carries, 23 yards, and no carries whatsoever for Atlanta. Just a pure air raid offense. But DK Metcalf, 8 catches, 332 yards total, and 4 touchdowns, leading away for Seattle. Calvin Ridley, 10 catches, a buck 89, and a touchdown as well. Nearly identical numbers for Hayden Hurst, except he gets to the end zone just one more time. Julio Jones having a monster game as well, 7 for a buck 46 and a touchdown. Chris Carson getting to the end zone as well through the air. Other than that, I mean, DK Metcalf carried the load for them, as Russell Gage also gets to the end zone as well. But defensively, Keanu Neal leading the way with 6 tackles. As we go to the sack department, Keanu Neal also getting a sack and 2 interceptions. Memory's a little hazy right now. He might be Defensive Player of the Week for the NFC, though, just going by those numbers. Fuisada Lokun with a pick, with a sack as well. Grady Jarrett, Marlon Davidson, as well as Carlos Dunlap II. Pick-wise, I mean, it was a pick city, as you just seen, a total of 12 interceptions combined from both teams. 3 picks for TJ Green, Keanu Neal, Kendall Sheffield, Quandre Diggs, Bobby Wagner, Quentin Dunbar, Monte Nicholson, and Trey Flowers, all with picks in this one. As my mistake, I think TJ Green might have been Defensive Player of the Week. We'll check after this one. But other than that, great defensive effort by the Atlanta Falcons. Both these teams high scoring, but you're not gonna win every week like that when you just throw the ball around like that. Yeah, great win for Atlanta. Yeah, W, Logan. I see you. We just covered your game, guy. You know what I'm saying? There we go. Third game of the season for Week 1. Regicide of the Philadelphia Eagles taking on DMV Iverson of the Washington football team. No longer the Redskins, the football team. Very close game here. Very defensive game. Yeah, as we go here in the halftime, 10-point lead for the Philadelphia Eagles, 17-7. But Washington slowly coming back as we go into the fourth quarter, 17-14. Both these guys able to get into the end zone in the fourth quarter, but the field goal in the first quarter is what made the difference for the Philadelphia Eagles, as they barely get over 24-21 on the road in FedEx Field over the football team. Thank you, Christian Jones. Thank you for subscribing, man. I really appreciate it. Seriously. Um, yeah. Jalen Hurts, 176, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. A little good, a little bad in his first debut start as a Philadelphia Eagle. Very promising. Nick Mullins, 135, a touchdown and 3 INTs. No Alex Smith for the football team, as he was cut prior to the season beginning. Kind of surprising he decided to go with Nick Mullins over Kyle Allen or any other quarterback he could have probably traded for or re-signed. But Nick Mullen is probably not the guy you want to go with, and it definitely cost him this game with those 3 interceptions and a QBR of 34.5. You're not going to win that way. Jalen Hurts getting it done through the air a little bit, getting it done on the ground as well. 3 carries, 44 yards. Miles Sanders boxed in this one, only 38 yards with a yards per carry clip of 2.4. Antonio Gibson, much of the same, but he was able to get a goal line carry. Other than that, Nick Mullins also with the fumble to add over to the 3 interceptions as well. Jalen Reagor, his first start as a first-round pick out of TCU this year. 5 catches, a $113, and a touchdown, paying immediate dividends for the Philadelphia Eagles. Thaddeus Moss, undrafted free agent out of LSU, the son of Hall of Famer Randy Moss, 4 catches, 62 yards. Manuel Harrell, 56. Marquise Goodwin taking it to the house as well with 52 yards. And Jeff Badet with a touchdown as well. Other than that, leading the way in total tackles is the very speedy safety out of Penn State, Troy Apke, with 94 speed. Josh Sweat, Chase Young, Derek Barnett, Marcus Epps, all with sacks in this one, as well as interceptions. Rudy Ford leading the way for the Eagles with 2. Ronald Darby, the former Philadelphia Eagle, Ronnie McLeod Jr., and Keyshawn Nixon. Any defensive touchdowns? I don't think so. I lied, my guy. 2 defensive touchdowns in this one, as Brandon Graham was able to recover a forced fumble for 36 yards to the crib, but definitely made the difference in this one for the Philadelphia Eagles. Ronald Darby taking it to the crib as well against his former team. Other than that, very, very impressive win by the Philadelphia Eagles. As we go here, this was a forced win game. As if you're new to the channel, we don't cover forced win or fair sim games. You know, we just go over the score. We don't get in depth with it about the stats. We give credit to the games that are actually played. So if you want to actually see your game reviewed, play your games, reach out to your opponent. Yeah, that's what we do here. As Miami Dolphins, I Travi takes on I Necklace of the New England Patriots. As you see here, the Patriots were inactive. Dolphins taking home the W for Travi. As we go here to the Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. This was another game that wasn't unfortunately played, but Alter Chaos 97, who's the main commissioner of the Green Bay Packers, taking on Killer Worm 7 of Minnesota Vikings, as Green Bay absolutely destroys the Vikings 49-7. As we go here to another game, California made AB of the Indianapolis Colts taking on Royale Soda of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is another game that was unfortunately I think Colts absolutely abused the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then that the Jags owner had left the league. So unfortunately, Colts usually lost a lot of his stats, a lot from what I've been hearing from him. As he said in the comment section, he said go over MVP Nyheim Hines. Hines absolutely went off in this game, but unfortunately the stats weren't saved. So, you know what I mean? If you screw somebody, you screwed yourself, because we kick people like that out the league. So we got rid of the Jacksonville user, and Colts, of course, takes home the forced win. So 1-0 in the season for the Indianapolis Colts. Other than that, another high-scoring game. Hueso, how do you say your name? Huesos? Chicago Bears, he's been in a couple of leagues with him. Taking on Zed Bolt of the Detroit Lions, and wow. I mean, Detroit Lions is one of those teams that are very, very talent depleted, but somehow, some way, Zed Bolt just absolutely took advantage of this roster that he has in place. 49-42, as you see here, every quarter, almost scoring averaging almost 2 touchdowns a quarter. Unbelievable. Chicago putting up 21 in the fourth, trying to mount a comeback, but it was too little, too late, as they just couldn't slow down that Detroit high offense. As they take home the dub in Motown. Jared Goff in his first game being traded via LA Rams with the Matthew Stafford. 572, 6 touchdowns, 2 INTs. Absolutely lit this defense up. 24 of 41. But Mitchell Trubisky, I mean, yardage wise, it looks beautiful. But more interceptions than TDs. You will not win that way. 25 of 46. Barely completing 50% of his passes. DeAndre Swift in his first start as a second-round pick out of Georgia. 36 yards and a touchdown, a yard per carry of, what the fuck did I just say? 7.2. 2 touchdowns for Tariq Cohen as well. Mitchell Trubisky also fumbling as well as Jared Goff. So both these guys couldn't necessarily hold on to the ball, but it didn't cost Detroit in this one. As Kenny Golladay, Offensive Player of the Week for the NFC, just went off, man. Almost 400 yards of total offense for Kenny Golladay. 385 total receiving yards, 11 catches, 3 touchdowns. 153 of those yards came after the catch with a long of 75 yards to the crib. Golladay went bananas. Cordero Patterson, the former first-round pick of the rival Minnesota Vikings, 9 catches, 217. Unbelievable. Transitioned. Actually, he's still at halfback. He's not actually receiver in this one. Just went bananas, 1 for 200 as well. Darnell Mooney, 7 catches, a $107 in his first start out of Tulane. TJ Hockenson, 6 for 83 and 2 touchdowns. A-Rob, 73 and a tutty. And Reggie Davis, surprisingly, 72 for a touchdown as well. And Tyrell Williams in his first game as a Detroit Lion, being cut by the Raiders in the offseason. Other than that, defensively, CJ Moore leading the way for both teams in tackles. Sack-wise, of course, Roquan Smith getting to the quarterback, and surprisingly, slot corner Justin Coleman. INT-wise, Roquan Smith, Tracy Walker, Amani I'm not even going to attempt to say that. But Amani with the pick, Khalil Dorsey coming over from the Baltimore Ravens, and Jamie Collins, all with picks in this one. Any defensive touchdowns? Of course there is. 1 defensive touchdown for Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack, which definitely made this game closer than what it was. But great win for the Detroit Lions. Hopefully they could keep things going with that momentum. On to the next game. The Truly Jed of the Cleveland Browns taking on Big B Stats, 86 of the Baltimore Ravens. And surprisingly, with the upset, Truly Jed beating Braden. I mean, as we go here to the first half, excuse me, guys. 3-point game, 17-14. Baltimore down. Third quarter, they were both able to get into the end zone. But apparently something's off with the box score. Cleveland might have scored in the fourth quarter, and also as Baltimore. But other than that, Cleveland able to hold on to the dub. Here's Lamar Jackson doing his part. 338, 4 touchdowns, 2 INTs. Very good game for the defending MVP trophy winner. Baker Mayfield, of course, 2 Heisman Trophy winners going at it. 370, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, 25 of 28. I mean, very accurate game from Baker. But Nick Chubb, 14 for 64, 2 tutties as well. Kareem Hunt getting into the end zone, as well as Baker on the ground. That running game from Cleveland proving effective, as surprisingly enough, Baltimore just refused to run the ball, as Lamar Jackson takes 1 carry for 11, but also fumbled the ball in this one as well. J.K. Dobbins only getting 2 for 5. It's not going to get the job done. Mark Andrews, 7 for $166 and 2 touchdowns. Dede Westbrook coming over from the Jacksonville Jaguars, 8 for $148. Hollywood Brown, 5 for $120 and a touchdown. It's hard to stop that guy. Kareem Hunt getting it done on the ground, getting it done through the air as well with 75 receiving yards. Odell Beckham, 6 for 72. Paul Richardson getting to the end zone, as well as Brashad Perriman coming over from the New York Football Jets. Tackle-wise, of course, we're going to cover the tackles. Chuck Clark and Anthony Everett surprisingly leading the way in tackles for both teams. As we go here to the sack department, the lone sack of the game, Myles Garrett, which is probably what caused the forced fumble. the low and forced fumble for Lamar Jackson. Malik Harrison, Terrence Brooks, and Greedy Williams, all with picks in this one. And if you're still watching, I just want to say, if you have highlights, New York Football Jets. Yeah, that's what they're called, the New York Football Jets. You know what I mean? Just like the New York Football Giants, they for some reason New York teams they just like to throw football because they feel like they're premier teams of the league. It's yeah, it's always kind of been that way. But again, Cleveland 38-28, huge win for Cleveland. Maybe this is a show of things to come for this season. On to the next game though. This game was a bit controversial. I know it says it was played, but Fast Meat of the New York Jets taking on King John 26-04 of the Buffalo Bills. It says this one was played, and from what the score indicates, I'm just going to go over the stats real quick as we go here in the halftime. Score 26-7, and it was over from then on. You could have stopped the game there because it only got worse for the Jets. 53-21 final score here in Buffalo. Just Josh Allen, 418, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, 21-29. Had himself quite a game despite the 2 interceptions. But James Morgan surprisingly getting him the start. As the Jets traded away Sam Darnold, and we don't know what direction this Jets team is going in. But 258, 3 touchdowns, 5 INTs. I mean, what happened there? 10-24, 5 sacks. Devin Singletary, 12 for 32 and 2 touchdowns as well. Other than that, Jets just refused to pound the rock. Stephon Diggs, 6 for $193 and a tutty. Jameson Crowder, superstar slot receiver, 5 for $117 and a tutty. Denzel Mims, 3 for $112 and 2 touchdowns. John Brown, 80 for a tutty. Gabriel Davis and Devin Singletary also getting to the end zone as well. AJ Klein with 2 sacks. Jabari Zuniga, Teron Johnson, Ed Oliver, and of course Jerry Hughes, all getting sacks in this one for both teams. But Marcus May leading the way in tackles for both teams with 9. Other than that, Jordan Poyer with 2 picks, Ashton Davis, Tremaine Edmonds, Teron Johnson, and Matt Milano. And Jordan Poyer, of course, Zoniga. Zoniga. I kind of caught myself when I said that shit. I was like, oh, man. But Jordan Poyer with 2 picks, Ashton Davis. That as you see the picks. Other than that, just complete blowout win for the Buffalo Bills as much as we expected. And it looks like this is another rebuild year for the New York Jets. They have no quarterback to lead the way, as they might just be tanking for Trevor. We'll see. A. Miggy of the Las Vegas Raiders taking on It's Decisive of the Carolina Panthers. Decisive, if you're in the building, say something, bro. We finally got to your game. Talk your shit. As we go here to the first quarter, I mean, Carolina jumps out to a 2-touchdown lead. They doubled down on that heading into halftime, 28-14, as Vegas was able to score 14 as well, but still down 14. Carolina doubles down in the third quarter, too little too late. 42-21 final score in Carolina. As RG3 is the quarterback of choice for the Carolina Panthers, 383, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks. Excuse me. As we see a little glimpses of the past, but could have went worse if they didn't concede. I mean, I see why he conceded, man. 7 interceptions. I don't know why he started Marcus Mariota over Derek Carr. Derek Carr, what Adri said in X Factor, he's actually very, very good. I had him in another fantasy league. He's actually really, really good. So, if you know Mariota, all he has is rushing ability. Throwing wise, he's fucking terrible. So 7 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 162 for A. Miggy. I mean, John Taylor coming over from the Indianapolis Colts, 28 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first start for the Carolina Panthers. Josh Jacobs, they just absolutely abandoned the running game as they had to pass through this entire game. Paris Campbell, 8 catches, 224 and a touchdown, also coming over from the Indianapolis Colts in that bundle deal with the Jonathan Taylor. Henry Ruggs in his first round pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. 2 catches, 78 yards. Curtis Samuel, 5 for 71. AB, 37 in a tutty. Hakeem Butler, 36 and a tutty. Wide receiver, converted tight end. Other than that, I mean, we're going to get to the real numbers here. The INT department. LaMarcus Joyner with a sack. Osmar Bilal, Josh Allen, Clelin Ferrell, and Derek Brown, all with sacks in this one. Tackle-wise, leading the way was Trey Boston, former Carolina Panther. But INT, this is what you want to see. This is what you're going to get. Jonathan Abram, first-round pick last year of the Las Vegas Raiders, leading the way with 2 INTs, along with Dante Jackson and Jeremy Chin. But LaMarcus Joyner with the pick, Marlon Humphrey, Stephon Gilmore, Ulysses Gilbert, and Eric Harris. I mean, if you have a secondary and your top 3 corners are Stephon Gilmore, Marlon Humphrey, and Dante Jackson, that's just... I would concede too, bro. I'm not even going to lie. That would be so fucking frustrating. Jeremy Chin with 2 TDs. LaMarcus Joyner with a TD as well as Eric Harris. Other than that, complete dominant win by the Carolina Panthers, as you see here, as they go 1-0 in the NFC South. All right, guys, we got ourselves quite a couple more games here as we try to quickly wrap up this recap. Next game, Pure Crabs of the LA Chargers taking on exclusive scorer of the Cincinnati Bengals. And Chargers, a bit of a talented roster, but Bengals came out here to play today as they dropped 20 in the fourth quarter to end this one, 37-19. Wow. Joe Burrow in his first start, 2 first-round picks, 2 guys who look to be franchise quarterbacks for their respective franchises. 215, 3 touchdowns, but 4 INTs for Justin Herbert as he's showing his rookie flaws very early on with those 5 sacks as well, 9 of 18. Very impressive yards per attempt average, but you like to see a little bit more completions out of him. Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner, first overall pick, $162, 3 touchdowns, 3 INTs as well, 15 of 25. A little good here, a little bad there from both quarterbacks, but Joe Mixon is really the player of this game. 17 carries, $155 and a touchdown, almost 10 a clip for Mixon. Very impressive game for him, as well as Austin Eckler. Very good game from him, 10 for 84 as well. Other than that, receiving wise, Jalen Guyton leading the way for both teams. 4 for $130 and a tutty. John Ross 63 to the crib. T. Higgins getting to the end zone, as well as Keenan Allen with his lone reception, as well as Tyron Johnson and Tyler Boyd. Other than that, tackle wise, Nazir Adderley. Sack wise, I see a big number here. Sam Hubbard, 4.5 sacks for him. The 2-year pro out of Ohio State. Melvin Ingram, the 3rd with a sack, as well as Derwin James Jr. INT-wise, Derwin James Jr., Darius Phillip, Tony Brown, William Jackson, Chris Harris Jr., Casey Hayward Jr., Mackenzie Alexander, all leading the way in INTs in this one. But Darius Phillip, main difference maker, taking one to the crib, which was a big difference for the Cincinnati Bengals. Other than that, big upset by the Bengals. Nobody really expected this team to show up and perform like that, and hopefully they could keep things going. This was a play game here as we don't have a Saints user. I think we have a Saints user in the Discord, but at this point in time, there was a Saints user, and he absolutely quit after this game. A /21R beat the brakes off this Saints user, 44-14, as we're just gonna 28 points just solo in the second quarter, and it's probably what did it for the Saints. I mean, 6 touchdowns for Brady, 438. He started Winston. Wow. $159, 4 INTs. You hate to see it. Rob Gronkowski, though, just untouchable in this one. 12 catches, 221, 2 touchdowns. Rojo, almost 100 receiving and a tutty. Scotty Miller, 70 for a tutty. Chris Godwin, 39 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Bucks just having their way with the Saints. Vita Vea with the sack as well as JPP. Janoris Jenkins with 2 picks. Antoine Winfield Jr., Trevor Williams, Marc-Antoine Decoy, Jordan Whitehead, as well as Mike Edwards, all with picks in this one. I know there's got to be a defensive touchdown in there, but like I said, Saints huge absolutely raised. So yeah, hype recap. Is that a good thing? Is when you done, fix my glitch as so that's your name? Your name's Christian Jones, Envy? Wow, you fucked up there, bro. No, Yeah, I'll look into it after this game. I got you, bro. Another one here. Perk 2K YouTube with the Arizona Cardinals taking on Exotic Splashy of the San Francisco 49ers. And this was a very close game. I was watching this on stream, but yeah, man. Perk almost staging a comeback, but Dick Cheese just able to hold on as George Kittle absolutely bailed him out in the fourth quarter. Josh Rosen getting the start over Jimmy G, 362, 3 touchdowns, and an INT, as well as Kyler Murray, 178, 2 touchdowns, but the 3 INTs definitely killed them in this one. Only 11 of 19. So Kyler Murray, definitely not the best game for him, but he executed in the red zone. Kyler Murray, 46 yards rushing. Kenyon Drake, 5 for 45 in a tutty. And Josh Rosen even getting into the end zone on the ground as well with a total of 4 touchdowns. Just absolute perfect game from Josh Rosen outside of the lone interception. George Kittle, though, 7 catches, a buck 27. The Arizona defense absolutely didn't have an answer for possibly the best tight end in the game right now. D-Hop, 2 for 92 in a touchdown. Jordan Reed, 53 to the crib. Richie James getting to the end zone, as well as Tevin Coleman and Andy Isabella. Other than that, I mean, 8 tackles for Isaiah Simmons in his first start for the Arizona Cardinals. Anthony Brown making his way over from the Dallas Cowboys. Sack department, though. I mean, Charles Washington, Budda Baker, as well as Jordan Phillips. Other than that, I mean, it's surprising, though. You don't see Chandler Jones there. You don't see J.J. Watt or Hassan Reddick or Arizona, a lot of big names on defense, but they just did not show up against San Francisco. Isaiah Simmons, Anthony Brown, Jaquiski Tart, Richard Sherman, as well as Akello Witherspoon, all with picks in this one. Any defensive touchdowns? Of course, it was Patrick Peterson. Almost got them back in the game late in the game, but it just wasn't enough. Too little, too late as San Fran survives a rivalry game at home, 28-31, as they take a lead in the NFC West. Or do they take the lead? As we go here, Sunday Night Football. First Sunday night game of the year. Hunter J.C. of the Dallas Cowboys taking on me, myself, and I, a.k.a. Jay Dilla, Boogie by Jay, of the L.A. Rams. I mean, I'm not going to hype myself up because I don't really like to do that. But very good game. I'm not going to take anything away from J.C. Very first possession of the game, I threw an interception. What happens after that? He throws an interception on his very first play of the game. So by default, it kind of cancels each other out. But I scored 7 in the first quarter, heading to halftime. He 2 scores in the second, and I'm like, man, I was able to come back in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, very, very close game, but just too little, too late for Dallas as they just couldn't stage the comeback there. His name is Justin. Yeah, I know. Matthew Stafford, though, a little up and down game. I mean, I'm getting used to Stafford. 285, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. He had himself an all right game, but I threw a pick in the fourth quarter that almost got Dallas back into this one. 319, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions from Dak Prescott, including a pick 6. Excuse me. Not what you want to see out of Dak in this one. Cam Akers, though, really impressive. 15 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. I absolutely love Cam Akers. Jared Cook, huge game, though. 12 catches, a buck 53, 2 touchdowns. Dallas just could not stop him. Ted Ginn, though, 5 catches, a buck 04, and 2 touchdowns. What's ironic enough, Ted Ginn, those stats are actually from him being a Dallas Cowboy. So I actually played against Dallas. I actually played against Ted Ginn in this game, and then right after this game, he traded Ted Ginn to me. So, thank God for that. Golden Tate, 3 catches, 82 yards. Debo, 77. CD was 67. Dalton Schultz was 66. Other than that, nobody else got into the end zone through the air. 10 tackles for Jalen Smith as he led the way. Sack-wise, 2 sacks for Randy Gregory. A sack and a half for Grover Stewart. Pick-wise, Taylor Rapp with 2 picks, including a pick 6 and a forced fumble. A big game for Taylor Rapp, the 84 speed safety. A lot of people like to bag on him, but he actually has very, very good zone coverage skills. Reggie Robinson with a pick. Reggie Robinson and Rashard Robinson with picks. John Johnson, the third with a pick. Terrell Burgess, as well as Leonard Floyd. Other than that, I mean, very, very close game. I missed my lone field goal attempt as well as he missed a field goal attempt, which would have made the difference from both of us. But very good game. Shout out to JC, man. Um, yeah, as we go here to Monday night doubleheader, as you always know on week one, Monday night doubleheaders is a must. Very good game here. Pittsburgh Steelers, Ice in My Veins 023 taking on Gakwe of the New York Football Giants. And wow, um, yeah, very good game here. As you see, there's a 1 point difference. No, I lied. There's basically a two-score game heading into halftime here, 27-14. But New York almost staged a late game comeback, putting a 20 in the fourth quarter. Third quarter was a dead quarter, but Pittsburgh and that defense just hold on barely as Big Ben has himself quite a game. 294, 4 touchdowns and a pick, 16-22. Daniel Jones, 407, 4 touchdowns and 4 INTs, 18-25. I mean, Daniel Jones, a little bit of good. He did most of his good in the fourth quarter, staging that late game comeback, but it's just too little too late. But Big Ben had himself an absolute great game. Anthony McFarland getting the start over James Conner, 17 for 81 and a touchdown. Saquon boxed in this one, getting a touchdown, but that's all he pretty much contributed. Eric Ebron in his first game as a Pittsburgh Steeler coming over via free agency. 6 catches, a buck 43, 2 touchdowns. Evan Ingram, 3 for 94 in the tutty. Dante Pettis coming over from the San Francisco 49ers, 85 yards and 6 catches. CJ Board, his lone reception to the crib for 79 yards. Darius Slayton to the crib, as well as Sherling Stepper and Anthony McFarland getting a 2-touchdown game, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air, as well as Chase Claypool with a touchdown as well. Devin Bush leading the way, of course, in tackles for both teams. Sack-wise, Lorenzo Carter getting a bit pressure with 2. Leonard Williams, Cameron Hayward, and Tyson Alu. Pick-wise, Steven Nelson with 2, as well as Carl Joseph and Darnay Holmes with the lone pick for the New York Giants. But other than that, great game for both teams. Gakwe almost leading a comeback. I know Gakwe usually rebuilds, but he made a statement by saying he's going to compete this year. And in the division he's in, he has quite a bit of competition, so it'll be good to see Gakwe make the playoffs. So I'm rooting for you, bro. As we get to the final game of Week 1, Exotic Viper YouTube with the Tennessee Titans taking on Y Berserker of the Denver Broncos. And kind of went how you expected, heading into halftime, absolute blowout, 27-0. And Denver, they found a way, though. They fought their way back into this game in the fourth quarter, but like I said, it was too little too late as defense just didn't find an answer. 48-26, final score in Mile High Stadium. Ryan Tannehill, 348, 5 touchdowns, 2 INTs. Just absolutely lit this Denver defense up. Drew Lock, a lot good, but a lot of bad as well. 4 for 4. Got it off the Wendy's menu. 374 passing, 17-25, 3 sacks. But Derrick Henry boxed in this one, but also gets in the goal line carry, as well as Ryan Tannehill with a total of 6 touchdowns for him. Congratulations. Cortland Sutton, 5 for a buck 22 and a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy, 5 for a buck 17, as well as 3 touchdowns in his first start, the first round pick out of Alabama, the Fred Biletnikoff winner in college. A.J. Brown, 4 for 83 in the tutty. Khalif Raymond, 65 in the tutty, as well as Jonnu Smith with a touchdown as well. And I'm missing the fullback Blasingame, as well as Corey Davis. Other than that, sack-wise, 2 sacks for Jeffrey Simmons. Jadeveon Clowney in his first start as a Tennessee Titan gets a sack as well. Rashawn Evans with 2 picks. Kareem Jackson, Kevin Byard, Justin Simmons, and Kenny Vaccaro. So, there's got to be a defensive touchdown in here somewhere. Not surprisingly, there wasn't. But that's all she wrote, man. I mean, as we go here into week 2, I'll give a couple predictions here before we ride up out here. Going off of what I just seen, Cincinnati Bengals taking on of the Browns. Both these teams 1-0. I'm gonna take the Browns in this one. I feel like that running game definitely gonna do damage against that Cincy defense. Gakwe taking on Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears an absolute shootout against Detroit week 1. Gakwe started off slow, but absolutely did his thing heading into the fourth quarter. I mean, this game could really go either way. I'm not going to play favorites. I will go Bears, though. I feel like Bears, what they did on offense was really explosive. They just need to cut down on the turnovers with Trubisky. Royal Soda of the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on Exotic Viper of the Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna go with Titans on this one. We don't know much about Royal Soda, so yeah. It's decisive taking on slash 21. I'm gonna go decisive. I just feel like even though Brady went absolutely bananas, the secondary, the Carolina Panthers, could keep those weapons in check and force Brady into a lot of mistakes because he just doesn't have the legs to escape the pressure. Why Berserk of why Berserk of the Denver Broncos taking on Ice in My Veins? Um, I'll go with the Steelers in this one. I think Steelers are gonna go 2-0. I think Denver's just gonna quietly try and find their way. They need to find a defense to stop Big Ben, who had a big game against the Giants last week. This game, as you see, I'll get into that in the next recap. Free Damp Donut taking on Hunter JC. This one could be a very good game. I played against both these guys, and if I had to be honest, this could be a very, very good game. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I feel like I'm gonna have to go Envy on this one. I'm gonna have to go Envy. Not even gonna lie. Just because JC gave a lot of his receivers away. He traded Cooper, he traded Gallup, he traded Ted Ginn Jr. So who does he really have to pass? I mean, his defense got way better, but what can he do offensively? So I'm gonna have to give it to the Falcons. Zed Bolt of the Detroit Lions taking on Green Bay Packers. Alter Chaos. I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna have to go with Detroit in this one. I feel like if he could do what he did with Kenny Galladay and fucking Jared Goff, I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, you got Jair Alexander, so who knows? You might put him in check, but I'm low key gonna go with Detroit in this one. Killer Worm 7 of the Minnesota Vikings taking on California AB of the Indy Colts, and I'm gonna go with the Colts in this one. I'm gonna give the edge to the Colts. I feel like they have a well-rounded defense that could stop this Minnesota offense, and offensively, I mean, if the hype is real, I think Colts might edge the Vikings. King John of the Buffalo Bills taking on Travi of the Miami Dolphins. This game was already decided, but he said he'll play the new user, so I'll give it to the Bills. Exotic Splashy, aka Dick Cheese of the Niners, taking on the New York Jets. Absolutely going with the San Francisco 49ers all day, every day. DMV Iverson of the Washington football team taking on Perk 2K of the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to have to go Arizona Cardinals. Sorry. I just don't think Washington football team has a quarterback to compete right now, especially if it's still Nick Mullins. Yeah, I'm going to go Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Snow Machine 12, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the LA Chargers. I'm going with Logan, aka the Chiefs. I just feel like if they got destroyed by Cincinnati Bengals, imagine what Logan's going to do to them. So, Big B Stats of 86 of the Baltimore Ravens taking on Lethal THF of the Houston Texans. To be honest with you, he got into a shootout with Logan, and Braden has better defense, but I will give it to the Texans. I'm not even gonna lie, just because Ravens, especially after trading Marlon Humphrey, they don't have a secondary. They don't really have anybody stop those fast receivers and Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller. So I'm gonna have to give it to the Texans. Necklace of the New England Patriots taking on Spill Your Guts. I'm gonna have to give it to Seattle Seahawks in this one. I just feel like offensively they're gonna torture New England on defense. And for right now, it's a forced one for A. Miggy until we get a Saints user. So yeah. Other than that, I think that wraps it up for the Week 1 recap. I mean, we're gonna keep these going all week, all season long. Please, man, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to stay tuned. Hit the bell for the notification. Thank you once again if you commented or tuned in or whatever, man. I really appreciate it. I like and enjoy doing this for the fans of the league, you know what I'm saying? And we're just going to keep things going, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for tuning in. And without further ado, we're riding out and signing out. It's your host with the most, Boogie by Jay, and take care.